Now we come to another protagonist that we will talk about today, namely Joseph of Arimathea. He is said to have been the one who requested the body of Jesus. Arimathea is a very interesting term because there is no Arimathea. There is Ari, the noble. Me, Mother of God. Thea, God, the divine. Thea, Theo, Tod. Death, German. A play on words. Is the name a play on words? Arimathea. And then one says, well, it is said to have come from Ramathaim. Putting aside the fact that Heim is a German term, because in Hebrew it would be beat. Does it seem that way? That a play on words was also made here? Era, home. Ra, mat, home. Re, Egyptian sun god. Me, mother goddess. Mary, mother. Home, home of father and mother. So consequently, home of father and mother. It's a play on words, etymologically, almost identical, with Rama, Brahma in Indian. Abraham is a play on words from Brahma. A letter jumble. It's also interesting, attention, Abraham's wife was named Sarah. Okay. Abraham, Brahma. Word jumble, Abraham's wife was named Sarah. What was the name of Brahma's wife? Sarah, Swati. Coincidence? And Rama. Read backwards gives a ma, which means love. Okay, it's about meanings. According to legend, this Joseph had a large following, where he brought the chalice of Jesus Christ from the Last Supper. After Glastonbury, where the King Arthur legend takes place, Philip, I've already mentioned, the apostle from Gaul sent 12 of his followers to Britain to convert the locals. They crossed the English Channel by boat and arrived on site. Joseph of Arimathea. And he is said to be buried there, lying. Did this Joseph of Arimathea really exist? Or is he just another story that carries a completely different meaning? There's another legend, my dear ones, in ancient Celtic. In present-day Arles, France. It is said that they're the home of Trophimus. So a disciple of Jesus founded a Christian mission, and he is said to have traveled to Gaul with Mary Magdalene and other disciples of Jesus. He became the first in a line of bishops of Arles, who held this office specifically from 60 to 80 after Christ. He is said to have been a bishop. And there is a strong tradition that connects the name Mary Magdalene with Gaul. Did Mary, Magdalene, and Joshua come to France with a large following? Did they then continue from there to the far north to Britain, Scotland, and Ireland? We assume that indeed Mary Magdalene, before Jesus died, in terms of time, Jesus, so that's some information, is either actually buried in Glastonbury or in Ireland. I can't prove that. No question, but I wanted to mention it. There are legends about Mary, Magdalene, and Jesus that also point to their activities in Scotland, specifically on the island of Iona. And there exists the tradition that Mary Magdalene is said to have given birth to one of her sons, John Mary, on Iona. The last prioress of the convent on Iona, stabbed 1534. And on the gravestone there is an image of a woman with a child. And this woman is depicted with long hair and is flanked by 2 twin towers. No, it has nothing to do with 9/11. The tower is indeed a medieval symbol for the home of Mary Magdalene. Oh yes, look there. And one of her epithets in Hebrew is the tower. In this case, maybe one can assume that the prioress Anna Magdalena in the 16th century. This legend has been known for a long time. And many people report that behind the former abbey there is a ruin, an old Mary chapel. where the presence of Mary Magdalene is still palpable. On this island, the veil between heaven and earth is said to be so thin that one has easy access to spiritual dimensions here. Joshua was, according to our information, in old age. He was cared for in his final years by one of his own children. And we have also searched for and examined that in the legends. What's going on there? This child is indeed mentioned in the legends as a high priestess at Avalon. Look there, that's where it all began. In Scotland, there even exists the myth about the foster mother of Christ. In Gaelic, she is called Moime Criosta. And the legend would definitely support our story. And in the West Highlands, there is even a conjuration formula. From the Carmina Gadelica, Volume 1, that we found, the following says, "It was the beautiful woman who went down on her knees. It is the King of Glory who lies in her womb. Christ the priest over us." End of quote. In this book, Jesus is referred to as the shepherd of the flocks. And, attention, Mary Magdalene is referred to as the shepherd of the flocks. As the companion of Yeshua, another hint that they continued to work shoulder to shoulder in love. It continues in the Cathedral of Arezzo, where it has already been. In Tuscany, Mary Magdalene is depicted as pregnant in a fresco by Pietro della Francesca. Just like in the stained glass windows in Kilmer Church, in Derwyck, on the Scottish island of Mull. That's only 30 kilometers from Iona. Wow. And north of Iona lies another very small island called Issa. So Jesus would also be called. Why, dear ones? They have taken the Arabic name for him. It means Jesus along the east coast of Britain. I'll give you a brief excerpt from my book. Here you see it. Along a line from the east coast of Britain, from Montrose, which is over here on the right, through Grand Daly, Fortingall, and the island of Iona over here. So, along this line, there's a pilgrimage route that runs in a straight line. It's full of legends and images of a pregnant Mary Magdalene. They aren't just randomly spread out or made up. When you mark the points, names, and places, you actually see a path, a connection. This is not a coincidence. Also down on the line of Mary. Okay. Which is located a bit south of Montrose. Over Fortingall, Tobermory, and Darweg, which we talked about, to the Isle of Mull. Okay. It's really incredibly exciting. You see, we've already dug quite deep. Currently, you can really see wonderful things. How the myths and legends about Mary, Magdalene, and Jesus are coming back into people's consciousness. They are waking up from their sleeping beauty slumber. Just as it was prophesied to us, people seem to be waking up from their, let's call it drunkenness, and becoming sober again. Until the man told Peter that he was supposed to be the first disciple, that Jesus appeared after the crucifixion. 3 Gospels and other apocryphal Gospels tell a different story. Namely, that Mary Magdalene was the first, and that makes sense. Absolutely. They probably just wanted to assign this role to Peter, because the Vatican was built on his rock. The first bishop of Rome. We know that Mary Magdalene was the first. The Holy Grail pattern requires the presence of the feminine aspect that one has intentionally severed completely at its core. However, the one among you who decides to awaken, all the missing puzzle pieces are slowly revealing themselves.